Welcome to the EdTech Unpacked podcast, where we inspire and equip educators to create learning experiences, highlighting a thoughtful approach to integration of technology as we teach and transform the lives of our students.
We're so glad that you're joining us on this episode where we'll be talking about teaching your students how to type and why that matters.
I am Desmond Suarez, and I work at Yeti Academy, where I've been teaching for over a decade. I teach religion, social studies, computers, and videography. I am also a proud graduate of Southern Adventist University with a bachelor's degree in religious education and a minor in computers. And I have a master's in instructional technology and instructional systems and learning technology from Florida State University. I really love helping people to learn so that they can fulfill their greatest potential and finding the best tools to accomplish this.
And I'm Aaron Long, and I currently am an administrator at Burton Adventist Academy in Arlington, Texas. This is year number 11 for me here, and my first year not in the classroom. I currently serve in the role of recruitment and development. I received my undergrad degree from Southwestern Adventist University in Keene, Texas, in religion, and later went on to get my education certification. I received my master's from Walden University in instructional design and technology, and my passion is connecting educators, helping cast vision, and inspire teachers to better integrate technology in their classrooms to improve the learning experience.
Very good. Aaron, I've got a question for you.
Go for it.
How fast do you type?
Oh, man. Good one. Well, thanks to the glory days of typing class in high school, I'm going to guess 70 to 80 words a minute.
That's pretty fast. I will not be able to keep up with you. I am closer to around the 40 words per minute, which is,
it's not bad.
I feel acceptable, but nothing to brag about. But let's find out. Let's do some Nitro Type.
Okay. Hey.
So if you want to join at home, go to nitrotype.com or just Google search it. I find my students doing this all the time in class. Sometimes I got to stop them. So let me know when you're ready, Aaron. I'm going to...
Okay. Let's see here. Loading up Nitro Type. Give me just a minute. All right, I'm hearing the engines revving. I don't know if you can hear my engines revving, but... All right.
Oh, man, you're so much faster than me. I got stuck a few times again. It was worse than I did earlier today. I was getting like over 50 earlier, but now I got down to 33 words per minute. It's the pressure.
All right. It is a little pressure there. I hit 68 words a minute on that run.
Dude, you are blazing. That's fantastic.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I don't think my typing class teacher would be totally proud of me, but I also didn't totally stink it up.
Very good. Well, yeah. So my typing experience is probably similar to a lot of people. I started in elementary school. We had Mavis Beacon typing, which was like the standard for decades, installed on one of our computers and actually probably multiple computers in our classrooms in elementary school. And I think we even had it at our home computer. And Aaron, I looked it up earlier today. You can still buy Mavis Beacon for like $70.
Wow. Is it like a download or is that a service now? What is it?
Well, I was a little confused, but it seems like you download it and you can install it up to like 3 computers. And then but it also requires like Adobe Acrobat and a web browser. So it didn't look
different type of model. We're not going to hate on it.
I might.
Different.
I think we have some better options later. But yeah, so it served many of us well in our time growing up a while ago. And in high school, I loved computer class. I was the nerd who sat at the edge of his seat, excited for like everything we were learning. And yet when it came to typing, I really struggled. I remember like, this is my favorite class. I should have like, the best grade. And then I had a bad grade because I didn't keep up with typing. And we had this like thick book and we had to like type it on a computer, have it on a stand. And, as much as I got frustrated with that, I'm really glad that my teacher held me accountable, and I had to go and do extra time to type to keep up with it. And it reminds me of multiple of my students today who love computer class, want more of it, but sometimes they're not the fastest typers, and I got to keep pushing them. If you're listening to this podcast, you know who you are. Aaron, what is your typing experience been like?
I grew up in the heyday of typing class. I mean, computer class was typing class. We learned Microsoft products and we learned typing. And so going through high school was really when I had a lot of practice. And, my speed used to be a bit higher. I guess I've come down over the years, but, that was like half of my time in computer class was just learning to type.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It took up a lot of time. And, a lot of schools today are not doing as much typing as they used to. And I'm kind of curious to hear from our audience of what their experience is like on what they're typing. And how they're teaching it in their classes. Why should we care about typing? What do you think?
It's a good question. I don't know if you're posing that to me.
I am. I didn't make it sound right, but yes.
Okay. Well, I think we're highlighting here today a little bit about why that is, and maybe by the end of this episode, it'll be a little more clear. But I reflect on a professional experience I had outside of teaching, where my dad and I partnered up in real estate for a period of time, and just being around him while we were both trying to produce content, whether that was creating documents or, completing contracts. And you kind of get a preview into a different generation's experience with typing or the lack of. And to be honest, it comes down a lot of times to just efficiency. How efficient can you be using the time that you have to produce and write? And, I always felt a little bit bad for my dad. The hunt and peck method was strong, but you can only go so fast. And so it was very limiting. And just having a direct view into that, I appreciated that I had typing class in high school, and, it wasn't something that held me back, and it really comes down to efficiency.
Yeah. And typing is definitely one of those things where I feel like no matter what job you go into, you're going to need it. Whether you like it or not, you're going to need it. And even if, your job uses it less, until you finish schooling, you're going to need it. And I definitely can see a difference in my students between the ones that I taught how to type and the ones who transferred in. And I've always kind of wondered if we should, we make typing available to all our students, the typing software we use. But I've always kind of wondered if maybe we should enforce all our students learning it, even if they came in and transferred later.
Well, I'll just side note this, because I've had this conversation quite a bit with other educators, and, does typing class matter or not? Should students learn to type? In the age of dictation and how easy it is to dictate, whether it's your phone or your computer, you might almost be tempted to think it's not necessary, but I think it's important to highlight that you can't always dictate, especially when you're sitting in class or you're sitting in a meeting. And so you have that kind of disparity there of those that can sit and take notes efficiently or work on things versus those that, if you're relying upon dictation, you really can't. And so it holds you back in certain settings, and it's quite a tool that I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon.
Completely. I mean, I have students who I've caught, trying to dictate during a test.
Wow.
Shut that down pretty quick. And there's other reasons why they're trying to do that more than just knowing how to type. But that, you have to know how to type to function at our school. If there needs to be accommodations for learning stuff, that's fine. But for the standard student, they need to know how to type. It makes a big difference if the ones that I see trying to write papers like this versus the ones that can just come in and type it. It's amazing. And it's funny because I've talked about those students who have loved computer class. They want to go and be computer programmers. And computer programming, you don't have to be the fastest typer at, but you do need to know how to type. Otherwise, you can't document. You can't type your code real fast. and you're not blazing through code, but still, you got to know how to type to do so many jobs.
In fact, I think coding requires a much broader, mastery of the keyboard, because you have a lot of symbols you're typing with.
That's true too. Letters. Yeah, memorizing all the special characters, which I still struggle at, is important. All right, Aaron, I got some questions for you.
All right, hit me.
All right, so what is the fastest? What do you think the record is for typing?
Man, so it's tough. You have your own experience. You have, what I know slow is. I think I know what fast is, so I'm going to roughly double fast, and I'm going with 220 words a minute.
That's pretty close, but overshot just a little. And this was a little hard to confirm, but Barbara Blackburn was in the Guinness World Book Records at one point in 1985 doing 212 words per minute. And it was cool. She trained on an electric typewriter, but she actually got that speed on an Apple computer. Now she claimed briefly, so I don't know what that means. Some of my students get like super fast on like one word. I don't know if that's what she meant. But she also was
like 220 words a minute factored over a 2-second.
Exactly. I have no idea. But she did have sustained speeds of around 150 minutes, or 150 words per minute for 50 minutes, which I think that's
wow. That's a long time to type that fast. That's incredible.
That was also 1985. Now, again, it's a little hard to confirm. There's another person who, Carol Betchen, who in 1959 is currently in the Guinness World Book of Records for 176 words per minute. Now that seems to be for 5 minutes, which that's a lot of words in 5 minutes. Now, I did a little math. What do you think the fastest hands-free typing is?
No basis for this. We're going to just go with 30 words per minute. No idea.
Now, this is a little more context. This is an accessibility thing. So this person apparently, and oh man, I should go and look for video for this. But it was at an accessibility conference and used motion capture on their face to type with. And I did, if I got the math right, it was 18 words per minute.
Wow, that's actually pretty decent.
Yeah, that was about a minute and a half worth of typing. But yeah, 18 words per minute, and that would be my teachers used to worry about us texting in our pockets. Smartphones have made that more difficult because you can't feel the keyboard. But now we might have to, if this catches on, like worry about our students texting with their faces.
Yeah, I doubt it.
That might be more obvious.
That much trouble.
No, it's an accessibility thing. Maybe the rest of us will get to use it eventually. I think that's pretty cool. All right. What do you think the average typing speed is?
Average typing speed. Since you and I are exceptional, I don't know. I'm going to go with 50 words a minute.
Oh, that's a little faster. The average, according to the American Society of Administrative Professionals, is 40 words per minute. But they say that about 60 words per minute is proficient for someone who heavily relies on typing. And if you're over 80, which I have a few students, it is you're considered an advanced typist. And I think that being able to type over 80 words per minute really does open up a lot of opportunities. And it sounds like you were an advanced typist, huh?
Well, I guess when you put it that way, there was a period of time where I could probably pretty comfortably get over 80 words a minute. Obviously now I've slid a bit. That's
fantastic. So I said earlier that I teach typing, and I want to share a little of my experience with it. The way I teach typing, I think, is different than it was a while ago. If you learned how to type on a typewriter, you had probably a classroom full, maybe a dedicated classroom full of typewriters, hopefully electric ones, and that is a beautiful experience. In my classroom, I have an old typewriter that someone donated to me because I like to collect old technology. It's over 100 years old, and it has a few pieces that need to be fixed on it. I wish I knew how to do that. Doesn't look hard to fix. It's pretty good condition. But it's that heavy manual typing It even has separate rows for uppercase and lowercase. Beautiful typewriter, but to learn how to type quick on that would be a pain. So I inherited the previous computer teacher, Pearl Quick, rock star. I hope she gets to hear this. I'll have to send her the episode. Pearl Quick was amazing, and she set our school up to use typethealphabet.app. And it's worked pretty good. It's what I continue to use. We make it available to all of our students, and we're maybe not our youngest, maybe starting in like 3rd grade, I think. About 3rd grade through 12th grade. And we make it available for all of them. But when they take computer class from me in 7th and 8th grade, then it's an assignment. And I described my high school experience in computer class typing. We were assigned, we had assignments we had to complete, right? The way I've done it, and I inherited this from her, and it works pretty good for me, is that there's lessons that we have available in typing club, and then to get a grade, they have to take these typing tests, and they're a chunk of text that Pearl Quick set up, the previous teacher set up, and I've continued to use. And we have a test for 20 words per minute, which is, if they pass that test, that's a C. And I always have a few students who, some of them really try and some of them pretend they're trying. You know who you are. To pass that test and really struggle to. And they get a 0. It sounds harsh, but typing's important. They have to get at least 20 words per minute. And that grade is 20% of their semester grade. And then if they get 30, they pass the 30 words per minute test, they get a B. Pass the 40 words per minute test, they get an A at 100%. And that's worked well for me. Although in preparation for this episode, I might consider trying some different strategies. But yeah, that's worked well for me because it does reward the students who are proficient. They don't have to continue to do that assignment. Once they've passed that test for that semester, they don't have to touch it if they don't want to.
Desmond, I could see some merit to, and I appreciate hearing how you give the grades. To be honest, I've never given grades for typing when I've taught typing. It's been like a lesson break. Everybody, we're going to do a typing lesson. So like practice time, but not graded practice. I could see some merit to maybe more of a growth type of grading spectrum as well. With the pre-test, you kind of see where a student's at. And based on the amount of growth, I could see some merit there as well. Is that something you've ever entertained?
I like it. I'm entertaining it now. I haven't. And that is a great question because I want them to get a certain standard. But I also do want to reward those who try. I have had students, it's cool because I can see how much time they're spending in it as well. So I have one student in particular who I keep bugging to type, and he's like, I'm doing it. And then I check the time and I'm like, dude, you've done like an hour a whole semester and I've given you more than that in class. What's going on here? But yeah, the growth is probably something that would be nice to at least incentivize some of the grade with. But I do want them to hit that standard. And in typing.com, not typing.com. That's a different one. In Typing Club, there are lessons that, some of them are very basic home row kind of things. And some of them are these really cool stories that they enjoy. And I have students in high school who finished a long time ago, and they love completing them and keeping going. And so many of them, once they pass that 40 words per minute, they like to, and I encourage them to continue to be faster. And then I have a small little hack that works for the fastest of typers in my class, is that every semester I promise whoever gets the fastest speed on the 40 words per minute test that I'm going to go buy whatever candy bar they want. They get to choose, and I'll bring it to them.
That's a pretty inexpensive bribe.
It is, and it works so good.
That's awesome.
And that's something that doesn't work for all of them, but I wanted to incentivize the fastest ones to get faster.
I would take a Reese's Pieces if you were asking me.
All right. I have to keep that in mind. It'll come to you. And yeah, they get fast, and then they're determined to beat the other students who, in previous years who have records, and
That's cool.
Yeah, I think it really works. Yeah, your school, do you guys teach typing?
So it's hit and miss. We don't require it as part of the curriculum. And I think every teacher probably has a little different philosophy. What I think is so interesting about it is, even though it's not required, the students themselves, it's funny that you recommended Typing Agent. That's where we started today, right?
No, I recommended.
Where did we do our test?
Typing Club. We did it on Nitro Type. So Nitro Type is
NitroType. I'm sorry. Typing Agent's a different product. All these different products. NitroType. That's the one I see the kids using just for fun all the time. Whether it's aftercare here in the lobby or breaks during class. The kids have used that for years. They continue to use it. So I find it interesting that they enjoy it. But it's also something that I think we should probably be a little more intentional about on the curriculum side to integrate it, because currently we don't across the board require typing as part of the grade that students receive.
Yeah, and I think that it does incentivize them, and I think it maybe got to figure out which class to fit it into, because I'm not sure it should fit into just any class. But yeah, for my computer class, I definitely require it to be there. So I want to talk about like the pricing model of how these are set up. We've struggled in this podcast because we don't want to. We're not doing full reviews on products, and we don't want to say like we're going to talk about 3 main services today, but we're not necessarily here to pick a winner, because they all serve different purposes. And so Typing Club, the one that we use at our school, and we're also going to look at Typesy and Yeti Academy and / Typing Agent, same company, 2 different products. And the way those are priced is that they have a price for like basically you pay a couple dollars each year for each student that uses it. And it's, yeah, I think and then they use it through the browser. So like Mavis Beacon, I was talking earlier, if you bought it a decade ago or 2 decades, 3 decades ago and still had a computer that could run it, it's still running. But these services continue to get updates, continue to improve. And all the time they're adding new lessons and activities to Typing Club. I have to about once or twice a year, I go in and look and add the new ones, and the students get excited that they get to try the new experiences. But Typing Club, they have, it's worked well for us. Now, the other 2 that we're going to talk about, let's talk about Typesy first. And Aaron and I were blessed to go down to the Future of Educational Technology Conference, FETC, in Orlando this year and interview a couple of these companies. So we're going to take a look at our clip from Typesy right now.
All right, so I'm here with Linda from Typesy. Linda, tell us a little bit about your product, what it is, and what it does.
So Typesy is a K through 12 keyboarding program. It covers K through 2, grades 2 to 9, and then the older kids as well. Really nicely split up so that it's super, super simple for the little kids, tons and tons of material for the older kids, and much shorter time periods for high school and that group of kids. There's also digital citizenship, as well as a huge vocabulary section.
Awesome. So some neat add-ins there that differentiate. You said K to 9?
K to 12.
Okay, K to 12. All right, thank you. All right, so next question here. What problems does Typesy solve for the classroom teacher?
Well, the biggest thing these days is online testing. So the problem that happens is that the kids are actually being tested on their keyboarding rather than on the material itself. So having effective keyboarding skills really solves that problem.
Great point. I see it as a classroom teacher, so I understand that. All right, so last one here. So why Typesy and not somebody else?
Well, the coolest feature that Typesy has is that they've split up that most boring part, ASDF, from the practice texts. So what that means is if you're offering keyboarding over multiple years, you only assign ASDF part if they need it. Otherwise, they do it, they're finished with it, and on to practice text they go.
So I assume in that regard, then there's some assessment built in that helps inform the teacher that, they've got this in the bag, move them on.
Absolutely. There's all kinds of reporting, custom reporting as well.
Awesome. Linda, thank you so much for sharing Typesy with us. We hope you guys check it out.
All right. So that was Typesy. And I thought it was a pretty cool product. Again, it's priced like the others are, where you pay once per year per student. Now, they're really focused on K through 12, as I guess probably all of them are. They have a strong vocabulary tools, which I think is pretty cool.
That's what stood out to me as well.
Yeah. And actually, Typing Club, I just noticed, has added that. So I have to dig into it. I haven't explored it, but I saw that today. So vocabulary. So I love the integration. One of the trends you see on a lot of typing things today is the integration of other material, not just typing. That way they're not typing meaningless passages. They're actually learning through the whole process.
And I think it's key to note here, we'll probably see this, but each of the typing platforms, what they've chosen to integrate in terms of those additional types of content, it's different, from one platform to the next.
Yes. And so another one that they have is digital citizenship, which is super important. Whether we'll need to do an episode on that later, but whether you're using this or another platform, digital citizenship is so important for your students. And so Typesy offers that as well. Anything else stand out to you about Typesy?
No, I think we hit the points here.
Yeah, it seemed like a cool product. The other one that we did was Yeti Academy and Typing Agent. Now, they're the same company, so you're going to see them. And there's probably more of you that are familiar with them. For those that are in the SDA, NAD, why am I fumbling over this? If you're in SDA school, Seventh-day Adventist school, then we do have a special agreement for discounts on this product. So we'll include that in the show notes. But let's go ahead and watch about, we focus mostly on Yeti Academy in this interview.
All right, so I'm here with Liz, the Director of Curriculum Development for Yeti Academy and Typing Agent, which many of us are familiar with. Liz, tell us a little bit about Yeti Academy, Typing Agent, what it is and what it does.
Sure. Both are online programs. Typing Agent focuses specifically on keyboarding with a little bit of digital citizenship, and Yeti Academy expands more keyboarding. We have STEM, Google Workspace applications, coding courses, digital citizenship. So it's just kind of all of those things that our Typing Agent customers were looking for. They just wanted a little bit more, and that's where Yeti Academy came from.
That's awesome. Those of you that don't know, it was Typing Agent first, and then you guys expanded in and added the Yeti Academy. So some of us that used Typing Agent years ago saw that happen live. So next question here. So what problems does your product solve for classroom teachers?
That's a great question. We care about our students, we love our students, but our focus is really for those teachers. Most of our courses developed for Yeti Academy are put together by teachers who know what teachers need. So our focus is really to provide everything that teachers need, from lesson plans to slides to assessments, so that teachers can really focus on their students and spend less time on planning and prep and really more time just in there doing the fun stuff with the kids.
Awesome. And we were talking a minute ago, device agnostic, so works on all devices, which is key. Last question here. So why Typing Agent and Yeti Academy and not another product?
Well, obviously with Typing Agent, they're learning those keyboarding skills without ads, without commercials, and kids are really learning as they go. So if there are skills that kids need to focus on, they're seeing those skills more often. So the program is very responsive, and it's a full curriculum, so students are really learning the whole thing. It's not just where some schools are kind of trying to piece it together with this program and that program, little of this, little of that. We really have a full program, starting with the home row and working our way up. So for Typing Agent, and that's the same with Yeti Academy, our keyboarding with that course, you're going to see those same type things, but then we take it a step further and really are just adding more and more and more. And it's really fun. The kids love to do it, and I mean, I love to do it. It's fun.
You brought back some memories there of learning home row back in the 90s when I was in high school. So I haven't heard someone refer to that in a while. So thank you. Thank you, Liz, for introducing Typing Agent and Yeti. We really appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, so that was Yeti Academy and Typing Agent. I really liked how Yeti Academy integrates a lot of other things with the STEM and the Google Workspace apps and coding, and again, digital citizenship. So they offer those two products, and they are at different prices. So Yeti Academy does cost more than just doing Typing Agent. And if they're younger students, Typing Agent I think is probably the better option from the way they have it designed. But yeah, so if you want them to get those other skills beyond just typing, then Yeti Academy sounds like an interesting option as well.
I love the integration of coding, and you hit on the digital citizenship piece. The fact that they kind of package all that together, and those seem a little bit like tangents, but they're like really important tangents. And if I was, I think, in the classroom, I'd be really tempted to explore this product if I wasn't using it because of the uniquenesses of those add-ons there that they offer.
For sure. All right, I have one more thing that I want you to do, and I thought I had it pulled up, is how fast can you type the alphabet?
Oh, man, that's a whole different question.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Well, let's find out. I'm going to send you,
I'll put
a link in our show notes so that you can try it. If I can find it. Oh, here it is.
This is like a pop quiz. I wasn't expecting these tests here today.
You didn't see the before we close. All right, there's a link in our show notes, Aaron. Click on it.
All right. Typing the alphabet. Wow. Is this a screen you want me to record this or just tell you? It's not the honor system.
Not the honor system.
Okay. Gotcha.
Our viewers have to know.
All right. I'm going now. All right.
Whew. How fast did you do?
6.968 seconds.
Dude, you're a boss. I've done faster than past, but right now it was 10.895. I keep saying that I've done faster in the past. You just have to believe me or not.
Well, our percentages kind of play out there then in terms of word per minute as it relates to this. Our ratio is about the same. If I'm about 7, you're about 10, and I think it was a similar ratio of words.
If you keep practicing this, you can definitely become faster at it. It's a different kind of thing for sure.
I knew the end of the alphabet was going to trip me up, and from V to Z, it took me a full second and a half. So I really got tripped up there.
Thank you again for joining us on our journey into the EdTech Unpacked podcast as we explore the importance and how to teach your students how to type to enhance your classroom experience.
As we unpack the tech today, we talked about a few key things related to typing, how every student benefits now and in the future with knowing how to type, and not just how to type, but how to type fast. We talked about how easy and cheap it is to integrate typing into your classroom experience. We also touched on how students can learn other skills. We saw that some of these typing products integrate things like coding. Also, they touch on things like standardized testing and even digital citizenship integrated into these typing products. We also looked at 3 specific products. We touched on Typing Club. We heard from representatives there at Typesy and at Yeti Academy and Typing Agent.
Please send your ed tech problems that you want to be solved to our help desk segment, along with any other feedback that you would like to give us through our website at edtechunpack.com, where we have a place to submit audio clips along with a contact form.
We've covered a lot today, and it's easy sometimes to get a little bit overwhelmed. And we encourage you, remember, God has a great purpose and a place for you in His plan, and we are stronger as we journey together, striving to give our best for the calling of His Spirit. May we always lend a listening ear to our students, especially those in need. May our attempts to engage students through technology never interfere with our calling to minister to the heart and soul of students in need. And remember, there is no substitute for great teaching. It's not just about the tools and the technology that you use, but how you foster meaningful relationships with your students to transform their lives. Thank you for joining us on this episode, and we'll see you next time.